All right, gang, in the shop this morning. I should have filmed or recorded the beginning images of this job, but I didn't. What I'm doing is welding some dirty aluminum. This is it's a reefer box, refrigerated unit, semi-trailer, and apparently during its lifespan over the last few weeks, somebody dropped a pallet and left a hole in the deck about as big as a football. Cracked the tread out and made what is a mess. What we have here is the piece that I cut out of the deck. You can see it's got lands and grooves in it. Now you can tell. Anyway, wear and tear, time, spilt product, oil, grease, spit, water, various other, substances are trapped. Aluminum is what they call porous, I think, because it just absorbs everything. But anyway, what I did, I removed the broke section. It was just held on by just a couple little spots, and I was like, I can try to straighten that, or I can just replace it. So I opted on replacing it. Like I said, the one area where the hole was, popped that out, and I went over and mulled in my mind. I asked my supplier, about the different types of material that I could put in there. I opted this time, where the hole was, to alternate tubing and solid bar. And in thoughts that the solid bar will give it a little bit more rigidity, I put it down in the grooves. I put solid bar down in the grooves, ran all the way past, caught the underlying structure so it's supported, and then where these are, I put tubing in, so it looks like a full surface. And I'm gonna turn you around and show you what I got so far. Okay, like I said, I alternated. Show you the end. I put solid bars in here. This back in there is where the piece come out of. So I ran the solid bar down the length, and then I cut it off. Cut the tubing off square-ish and dropped in lengths of tubing in there in these spots. This decking comes in strips. They put a weld joint, and then it's got 8 or 10 inches of plate, then another weld joint. I'm currently trying to find a supplier for this decking where I could just rip a piece out and put a piece in. I can probably skill saw down in between these, pull the entire section out, and then you'd still be able to maintain your wrench grooves in the bottom of the trailer. But right now, what I'm going through is getting my heat settings right on this aluminum and welding in patches. Back here, this is the original group, the land, and I burned through, and there's foam underneath there. So I could only pull it out a little bit at a time, a little bit to here to cover behind, so it wouldn't give me so much trash in my weld. I'm welding this with a spool gun. Nobody recommends welding with a spool gun, but I have some passes. What I did was I went in and tacked everything down, and then I put me some little ginger passes in there to hold it still, to keep it from pulling out or distorting while I was starting to weld. I got back here, that's one of my old passes. I got to rip that out. I'm just going one side to the other. Then I'm gonna move over and clean and do the next strip. Move over Any passes that I'm not satisfied with, I grind them off smooth, gouge them back out, run the next strip until I get finished. Over here on this side, there's still like a check mark in there, a little hole. I'll probably run a strip down through there and tie it into those corresponding side pieces. Over here, there's another crack. I may just run a strip of the solid in this groove and try your best. That's just what I'm doing. The guy that taught me way back when, many moons ago, when he sent me out on jobs, he'd say, just do your best, Mo. Trying to find what series wire, 50 series or 40 series. 40 seems to be a kind of a generic 40 series. I'm using 40, 3035 through that little spool gun. And like I said, just gouge it, run it in. If you're not satisfied, rip it out. Sometimes you'll boil up trash, impurities, rip it back out. That heat will cook it up, run a new groove in there, and then try to weld a satisfactory pass over the top of it. When I get finished, I'll do a little blending, knock any of the high ribs or nubs off of it, and pat it on the behind and send it on down the line. Really, it's a patch job. Anytime you do a repair or patch, it's a patch. Some guys are confident in their abilities enough, or overconfident. They say, oh, it's better than it was new. No, it's not. It's a repair. Maintain that thought that a repair is a repair. It is a patch. It is subject to fail, especially aluminum or cast iron. And just do the best you can. But what I'm doing, like I said, I run over it, it scorches out some impurities, I clean that out, re-groove it, and then try to put a satisfactory pass on top of it. So with that thought in mind, you got to play with your heat. Each piece is worn down, the old tubing's worn down, you blow through. Welding with the spool gun, it's best to push. Your heat settings are going to vary from morning to afternoon, the temperature of the material, the amount of trash that's in it, your attitude, everything. So heat settings, I'm currently setting on 20.7 on the XMT. I got the spool gun where it's spitting a little bit too much wire out. But like I said, I'm putting a groove in there to put a little bit of a dish, and then I put my weld, and then I'm getting some build up over the top. So when I do blend it down, it's not just blending down to a paper thin pass that will crack over time with the forklift travel on it. So that's what I got. That's what I'm doing right now. I'll flip you guys around when I get finished and show you the finished product. Stay tuned. All right, going handheld. At the end of round one, I got the bars in and I got it about 85% welded. And the trash and impurities is boiling up and making a huge mess. And like I said, if you're not satisfied with the pass, you got to grind it all smooth, gouge it out, and then re-weld it over with another pass. And sometime when you hit the land, it's already worn so thin, you pop through and it hits the foam, and then you cause it and it makes a smell, and it's really nice. But that's what you got to deal with. So anyway, I'm gonna turn you around and show you the patch that I've got so far, and I still have a few passes left to go. I'm gonna run out of a spool this evening. I've put about 3 spools of wire, 2.5, 3, into this little deal. And the main consumer is, when you get one and it boils up, you got to grind it off and gouge it out and rerun it. And what I've noticed is when you're running along and you dob, you stay on top of your pass. Stay on top of your puddle and let it current, and it'll finally will boil out ahead of you, and then you got to stop, clean, do some patching, daubing, and then you keep going. I'll turn you around and show you what I'm talking about. What we have here is miles of bad road. In here, you can see where we were going new to new, the welds didn't look too bad. But then, when you get over here to where it's new to old, you have to start doing that daub, 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 and you chase the trash out, and then you hit it where it boils up, and then you got to gouge back, and then you start back over. Daub, daub, just pecking the trigger, and you chase it out. Sometimes, get near the end, if you don't take your time and slow down, it'll boil it out. Over here, the lands got really smooth, so I had to daub in and fill up. I'm gonna have to blend that. Here's another spot. It boiled out. It was actually a big check mark in the decking there. I gotta clean that down. But here's a good example of the crack. So what I do is I'll run along, boil trash out, try to make a decent pass, and then I'll start building up aluminum back around here. I'll go ahead and fix that pass over in there, and then I start welding a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, till I close that crack up. Then I'll have to grind it off. Back in here, same thing. All this area right here just burned out, and I'm running down kind of low on my heat. So anyway, that's the kind of mess you're gonna run into. I'm gonna have to blend that over. There's another spot that was cracked. I daubed up around. It's ugly. Like I said at the first, it's a patch. It's going to look like a patch. I'll do some blending on this, and I'll show you what I got on my finished product. Okay, this is it. I had to grind the knobs off as best I could, and you can see the blow-throughs and backfill and general mess that you run into with welding bad aluminum. "100 miles of bad road." Well, that's it. That's a look at it. Dirty Aluminum Welding 101. First you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed. Gouge it out, weld you another one over it, cook the trash out of it, brush it off with a stainless brush. We used those white cotton back grinding discs to blend and clean with, gouging and whatnot. They seem to be less clogging and just better in my opinion. Yeah, they stink when you burn them, but that's all you can do. Any questions? I know there's gonna be some people that eventually will watch this video and blow me up in the comments block about you didn't clean it good enough, and you didn't do this, and you didn't do that. What about the other? Hey, like I said, a patch is a patch. Do as best you can. Keep your mind clear. Stay patient. And just weld it out. Till then, like, share, subscribe, comment. This is Mo, damn it. Tire Creek Iron Works out.